So it was revealed in great detail in that big expose about Rupert Murdoch and Fox News and about Donald Trump following the 2020 election, how they knew that they were telling lies, that all this election stuff was nonsense. And we've done a lot of critical coverage of that. But I wanna focus on why they did it right now. So it was very clear from their statements. This is not us reading between the lines. This is us reading the lines of their text messages and emails, that they were terrified that if they turned against Donald Trump, or if their audience just perceived that they were turning against Donald Trump, that they would lose that audience. And that would be it for Fox News. They would flee to Newsmax. Very specifically, that's what their concerns were. Which is why the path that Fox is on right now, I find to be so interesting. Because it looks like they are set to collide with Donald Trump sometime in the near future. In a day, in a week, in 3 months. But they are gearing up for a massive collision. Here's a new report. Fox News reportedly shadow banning Donald Trump. And that is not like some new policy going forward. That's apparently what they've been doing. According to 4 Trump aides, the network has refused to book Donald Trump or even talk much about him in the context of the Republican presidential primary. Quote, it's certainly, however you wanna say, quiet ban, soft ban, whatever it is, indicative of how the Murdochs feel about Trump in this particular moment. Others have said that this is a policy. This is not just describing an effect. This went out to them and they are supposed to abide by it. Trump, by the way, has not been on Fox News since September of last year. That was following the raid of Mar-a-Lago, back when he was telling Sean Hannity that he could declassify documents by like thinking about it really hard or whatever. And even when he did his trip to East Palestine, they didn't really cover it at all. Certainly not live in the way that he might have. And you might think, well, maybe they're just being careful when it comes to the presidential race. They don't want to seem to be picking sides, but they kind of are picking sides because while Donald Trump has not been on Fox News since September of last year, Vivek Ramaswamy, who just launched like 2 weeks ago, has already been on 4 times in a 10-day period. Ron DeSantis has been on 4 times, just 3 days this week. So they are flooding their airwaves with other Republican candidates or likely candidates, but not for Donald Trump. And this is not the only evidence I have that they appear to be rethinking how terrified they should be of Trump, their willingness to turn against him and possibly have a war for the future of the MAGA movement. I have some other evidence I'll present in a moment, but Viviana, what do you think?
I mean, I think you would be blind to not have noticed this trend for, like you said, he hadn't been on Fox for, since September of last year. That he was on there every single day. They loved him. So in light of what happened with Rupert Murdoch and him admitting that they're really slanting some stuff over on Fox, news alert, that's news to everybody, right? Now we know Fox has been doing that for a while, but the truth comes out. So we now see that this is not, unbiased journalism. They have an agenda. I'm sure they have people who are paying for that agenda to come to fruition. It is, interesting to see who the GOP is now favoring and who, Fox, who has ties to the GOP, is now favoring. So, not shocking, but it's kind of like, watching a car wreck. You're like, okay, well, what's gonna happen next here?
Yeah, and I'm sure that there are some consequences, hypothetical consequences of this war that will absolutely suck for progressives. I mean, why not? It's 2023, it's America. Being a progressive sucks in a lot of ways politically because the other side has so much power and money. But it could result in the destruction of Donald Trump, which that would be fine by me. It could result in the destruction of Fox News, which would be the best thing ever. So I don't know, I'm pretty excited for it. There's a couple really interesting things developing in American politics for 2023.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.